Hello. So I'm making this video just first a disclaimer. None of my commentary videos like this actually include visuals, so don't get your hopes up in that regard. But that's not really what this video is about. This video is about something that I genuinely care about. Now, I never played Overwatch when it came out. Mostly because I just straight up thought Overwatch wouldn't be fun. Like, I had seen the same kinds of first-person shooters, big blockbuster ones, that come out every year, but from the big studios like EA, and I had some bad experiences with Blizzard, especially after the World of Warcraft Nostalrius incident, so I just didn't feel like it. Plus, it was like $60, so I wasn't into that. When, on the other hand, when I had recently downloaded Steam so that I could play Cuphead for the first time, I saw in the Steam free-to-play section was Team Fortress 2. Now, I played it on and off for like 3 years, like a match at a time. I was never good at it, and even now I'm still like mediocre at best. But regardless, it's just I watched MacPad's video on Deadlock about the argument between TF2 and Overwatch. And while there were basically no good points in that entire episode, because almost all of them could be, just straight up disproven, I suppose I'll make my own. Alright, what does Overwatch have that Team Fortress 2 doesn't? More gender equality? Sure. Let's count that on their point. More racial equality? Yeah, I mean, well, if you take the volume of characters in Team Fortress 2 and the volume of characters in Overwatch, then, 16% colored on Overwatch, about 11% colored on TF2, not including the pyro, which could add to make it higher than Overwatch. So, slightly higher or slightly lower on that front. So that's like either way a point. Already not looking good for Overwatch. Maps, Overwatch's maps, while looking crisper than TF2's, it's just straight up not as many. There are more quantity while Overwatch figures on quality. And I would say that TF2 ultimately has by far the better maps. I love TF2's cartoony style. I love the characters in TF2. The characters in Overwatch are so cookie cutter and basic that it's comical when you compare it to the expressiveness of the characters in TF2. And I'm not even talking anybody else's opinion here. I'm saying that TF2 is better than Overwatch. Now, of course, this is always a point of debate, as is anything. This is basically entirely subjective. But there's a reason why TF2 sticked around long after Overwatch died. Overwatch was that new kid on the block. He was popular for like 2 years. Let's say that's 2 days. Alright. Okay, Overwatch came out, guess how many years earlier? 10 years earlier. And it still maintained a delicate but dedicated player base, which was higher than Overwatch immediately after Overwatch had fallen. And while it was never as high as Overwatch's was, back in Overwatch's glory days, I guess, what can I say? Who cares? I mean, at this point, all these numbers are just getting washed up and up. But while Overwatch players, majority of them are free-to-plays that, they can't be free-to-plays. Most of them are free, are like players that haven't spent $1 on the game, running around not knowing that they have secondary weapons. I don't even know if you do have secondary weapons. because I just am so used to the conventions that TF2 set out for modern first-person shooters, or at least first-person shooters that want to stick around. TF2 has certainly a better art style and better characters. Like, before I had even played TF2, I knew damn well the names of almost every character on the cast. Okay, alright. Let's run down. Let's name some TF2 characters. Alright, let's just name the characters that aren't even in the game. The Administrator, Miss Paulding, and Saxton Hale. Okay, great, we got it. That's most of them. Now let's name the playable characters. Scout, Soldier, Pyro, Demo, Engineer, Heavy, Spy, Sniper, and Medic. All of these are expressional characters. Pyro is a schizophrenic wearing a gas mask that burns people. Engineer's a soft-talking Texan man from the south. Medic is a crazy German scientist. Heavy is a large, seemingly stupid Russian man. Scout is an illiterate Bostonian meat-shodden retired baseball player whose father is the spy, who's a French ladies' man, always wearing a ski mask. I just can't get over these characters. Let's go over to Team Fortress 2. I mean Overwatch. Sorry. Okay, what's their stand-in for Scout? Tracer. Tracer is not nearly as much of her own character. What is their stand-in for Medic? Okay, just this goes without saying, but all of Overwatch's characters are nice and little and made for kiddos, right? TF2's characters don't give a crap about that, man. They straight up don't. So, I'll say this. Okay, let's compare the personalities of Mercy to the personalities of Medic. And just to be fun, I think it's Rainbow Six Siege. Let's include the personality of Doc from Rainbow Six Siege. The personality of Medic from Team Fortress 2 is a crazy German madman that spends more time accidentally killing his patients and using his team as test subjects than actively wanting to heal them. Mercy is a benevolent goddess that can pussy's out of battle the second any danger arises. Yeah. And Doc, I'm gonna be 100%, I don't know anything about Doc, but he seems cool, so I'll give him points, like right below Medic. And, there's always gonna be more. But, yeah. Who's our heavy stand-in? Roadhog, or is that our Pyro stand-in? Regardless. Overwatch doesn't have nearly as many playstyles that you could possibly choose from due to the sheer amount of weapon loadouts and cosmetic loadouts in Team Fortress 2. All have stereotypes attached to them that play off of each other, as well as the characters playing off each other. Oh, and the comic books. Oof. It's just that Blizzard clearly does not care nearly about as much about Overwatch as the fans of Overwatch don't care about TF2 as much as TF2 fans care about TF2. Overwatch players probably at some point tried TF2 just to see what their adversary is. And those are some of the greatest friends I have on TF2. Right? I have not played Overwatch. I'm gonna be 100%. But in a video that analyzed MatPat's video on it, it said that weapon loadouts and cosmetic loadouts were significantly more, mobile and flexible from a person that had already played Overwatch but played more TF2. So, yeah. TF2's 100% better in that way, too. In the gameplay perspective, art style perspective, character personality perspective. And they're just about equal on a diversity and maps perspective. So, damn. What does Overwatch have that TF2 doesn't? Slicker graphics for the weapons? Yeah, but it doesn't matter when the concepts for the weapons are so bizarre, out there, and hilarious that no amount of cool design can ever make them anything more than they are. Overwatch weapons are cookie-cutter weapons that have no real charm or personality. Like, you mean to tell me that there's less charm with the turrets in Overwatch and the sentries in Team Fortress 2. Like there's fan art of the sentries, and you can launch yourself with the sentries when you use the Wrangler. there's just oodles of oodles more things that TF2 does right. So, yeah. I think that pretty much clears it up. But that is why I prefer TF2 over Overwatch, and why TF2 has survived so long.